So I'm Benji Damron. I work at Manifest Digital. They're a digital agency based out of Chicago, St. Louis. Recently started working with them back in March. They decided they were a .NET shop, and they decided they wanted to become a Drupal shop. So I'm helping them do that. This is pretty much the only way you can contact me. I'm not on social media. I know that's kind of weird for a web guy, but not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not on any of that stuff. But I will respond to you if you email me. This is where the slides are. I don't know how much they'll really help you, like outside of this discussion. They just have a bunch of Git commands on them with no explanation, so I don't know what they'll really do for you. So does everybody here already use Git? Show of hands, anyone? Well, I know you. Yeah. Okay. So does anybody know what Git is? No? Yes? Go ahead.
It's the version control system Torvalds created to keep track of the Linux kernel.
Yeah. And do you know the backstory on that? How that happened?
Hated every other version control system.
Well, they were using, that's kind of it. They were using BitKeeper to store Linux. You've all heard of Linux, I'm guessing. And the relationship broke down there, and so they were like, fine, we'll just write our own. And that's what they did. So I'm sure all of you, does everybody here write some kind of code in some capacity? So you've done some kind of version control of your own, whether you just save your files in a different place. I know that's what I used to do. I'd have another directory where I'd put things on my local machine just in case things got messed up. That's called a local version control system. Centralized is where the server lives out somewhere and everybody has to hit that server to pull the code down, which is cool because everybody can get to it, but what happens when that server goes down? It's like your code's gone. Git is a distributed system, which means it lives in a repo somewhere out there, but it also lives on everybody's machines. So if one gets messed up, there's definitely another place you can go to get it. We already covered this? Okay. So we have a few people that use Git, right? Has anybody else used any other version control system besides Git? Perforce? SVN?
CVS, Subversion.
Subversion, yeah. They're basically the same way. You make changes, you stage those changes, and then you commit them. So doing it from the command line, personally for me, is a lot easier. I know a lot of people like to use Tower, if anybody's ever used Tower, or Source Tree. But it seems like when people use those, I end up helping them fix things that they've broken. So, because so much goes on behind the scenes that you don't see. When you do it this way, you kind of see everything that's going on. There's so many different ways to install Git. This is the from the book. The book is great, by the way, which is how I learned it. My last job, we switched from Perforce, and they were like, you have to get all Perforce stuff into Git. So I started reading the book, and and I figured out, that's how I learned it, basically, is moving from one to another. It's going to depend on your platform for the installer. Mac has a GUI installer. You can do it from the command line. I've never tried it on Windows. Anybody ever tried it on Windows? It seems like it would be difficult. I don't know. I haven't tried it. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Once you've got it installed, there's plenty of places to get help. You can basically type the command get help, whatever it is you need help on, get whatever you need help on, -- help, or the manual itself, man get whatever you need help on. If you do something wrong from the command line, Git tells you. It's kind of like Google, how you know how Google will say, are you sure you didn't mean this? That's what Git will do. Are you sure you didn't mean? So I'm going to have to jump out of here and get us some repos. If I'm going too fast, you can't see, I don't make any sense, I say something that's completely wrong, please just stop me and say, hey, that's not really the way it
Do you
should be
have
done.
the deck online?
Yeah, it is online, and I had a link at the beginning. Do you want me to go back to that so you can see it?
That would be great.
Yeah. Okay, is it big enough? Can everybody see that?
So it's not on the Drupal camp site, but it's a little bit.
I'll put it up there.
No problem.
The last time I checked, I wasn't able to add
I
anything,
have
but
this
I'll.
link, yeah.
But I.
have this link. So
Okay. Okay. So first thing you're going to want to do is open a terminal window, and there's a couple different ways you can get a repo. You can either take code that you already have, and which is kind of what I'm going to do here. Ignore the Drush stuff. I'm just doing that for ease of use. Anybody else use Drush? Anyone? If you check into it, it makes your Drupal life a lot easier. Okay, so that basically just downloaded Drupal core for me. And I'm going to change into that directory. The first thing you want to do is git status. And I'm going to misspell it to show you. As you can see, is that big enough? Can everybody see that? Or do I need to go bigger? Or a different color? I'll go a little bigger here.
That's better.
Okay. So, as you can see, it says, did you mean this? It's like, why, yes, I did. I meant git status. I misspelled it. And it's telling us not a Git repo, which we already knew that. So to make this a Git repo, all you have to do is type git init. So now we have an empty Git repo here.
So you have a Linux on your laptop?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I imagine it'll work from Windows command line too. Never tried. Like I said, I've never tried it. I know if you use Dev Desktop from Acquia, it will set all this stuff up for you, and you can use these command lines.
Say it.
Dev Desktop, it's kind of like MAMP, but it's specific to Acquia sites. But you can use it for local development for any kind of Drupal site. It'll only work with Drupal. Which makes sense. It's Acquia's product. So, so now we do have a repo there. Another way you can get one is to just clone an existing one, and the command for that is git clone, and then the URL of your Git repo. And usually it has a folder that it'll throw everything into. I already have this repo on here, so I'm going to put it in another one. And you do that by just adding the directory you'd like it to go into. And it doesn't have to exist. It'll create it for you. So as you can see, it's cloning it in. So there, we've got that repo. You do a git status. Always do git status. When in doubt, git status. Which is weird. Oh, do you know why it said that? I'm not in the directory. So now let's do a git status. Okay, so it tells us we're on branch master. We're up to date, with which we should be because we just cloned the site there. So let's go back here and get a git status. I'm guessing it's going to tell us something very different. Yeah. So as you can see, we're on the master branch, and we have all these untracked files, which to me looks like pretty much all of Drupal, right? So let's pretend like we're doing a presentation here and get back into our slides. So we went through that. This is something you'll probably want to do right off the bat before you commit anything. There are certain files that you're just going to want to ignore, And to do that, and do you guys know what I mean by ignore? You don't want them committed into your repo. So, and I'm not sure if this is best practice or what, but pretty much everywhere I've worked has taken these and they don't commit those because they really don't need to be there on a live site in production. You don't really want people to know what version of Drupal you're on if you happen to be a little bit out of date, you know. You don't want them to look at your change log and say, oh, they're on 7.3.3. Let's break some stuff. So the way you would do that to get your git ignore file, let's go back here because I bet this one already has one. VI opens a command line editor for you. So you can see I'm already ignoring some things here. DS store is something that shows up with a Mac. You're going to get it in every single directory if you don't ignore it, and it's going to get committed. You don't want to commit your files because I pulled down a site yesterday. I had 4 gigs of files. You don't really want that committed in your repo. A lot of people ignore their settings files too because say you're working on something with another developer. They have a different database string connection. If they pull your file down and change it, commit theirs, you don't have a site anymore when you try to open yours locally. Or they push it to production and it's got the local database string. That's always nice too. But usually there are other ways around that too as well with the settings file. Has anybody ever worked with Acquia the way they do theirs, the way they do their settings files? They live somewhere else. There's a string in the settings file that says, hey, if this file exists, read it in here.
That's part of Drupal 8 now too, right?
I don't know. Does Drupal 8 do it that way? Does anybody know?
That's what they're going to do.
That makes sense because otherwise you're overwriting everybody's connection string. So basically, you would make changes. We might as well make some changes to this. So as you can see, I can't. Oh, it did let me insert. I must have hit an I in there. To insert, you use the letter I. So let's go ahead and it's probably not going to let me do this since it's probably already committed. And then to save this file, actually first you hit escape, WQ, right quit. And if you look, if we do a git status now, we can see that there is a file that's been modified because we modified it. So you've made changes, and as you can see, always read this. It's going to tell you exactly what's going on. So you can see that it knows that we've made changes, but it also sees that we haven't staged those changes yet. And to do that, you would do git add, name of the file. Now if you do a git status, it's turned to green, it's ready to be committed. So to commit, it's just git commit, spell it right, -m, which means there's going to be a message. And then you want to give it just a little, don't write a novel or anything, but don't just say I made changes. You need to let people know exactly what you've done. They can look at the files, but it would be helpful to know what you actually did to those files. Okay, so as you can see, it modified it. We committed it. But let's go back here. Everything we have right here has not been staged, as you can see.
Could you clarify what the green background?
Oh, I just did that so I wouldn't get confused as to where I am.
So these are 2 terminals on the same machine.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
just posting a local.
Yeah, these are both local. And I just did the green so that I would know which site was which. There's all different colors you can choose from. So, I mean, if you wanted it to look like a homebrew screen, you could do that.
So MVP 2167 is the name of it.
Yeah, that's the computer that I'm on.
Okay.
So, would you really want to go through here and commit every single one of these files the way I did over there, where you do git add this file, git add this file? The way you get around that, actually, what should we do first?
Status.
Maybe ignore some stuff, since nothing, and it looks like there was already one there. So we're good. That's because when you pull something down from Drupal, it's already got the git, at least the git ignore. It didn't have the repo info. So to add a whole bunch of files, navigate to inside of the directory, which we already have, or whoops, git add, period. So now when we look, git status, they're all green. They've all been added. So you can just do git commit -m initial commit. Okay, so we've made some commits, and now we want to push them up. I don't know if this is the way you should do it, but the way I always do it, git status every time I type it. More than I need to, probably. But you can see we're ahead of the remote repo. And it tells you exactly what you need to do pretty much every time with these. So it says use git push to publish your local commits. So since I know no one's working on this. This is a site that I have, that I only have access to. But typically, after you've made a commit, you'd want to do a git pull, because someone may have committed something. You want to get all your information. You can see it's already up to date. So we're going to just git push. We want to push to the origin, to the master branch. And as you see, it pushed up to our master branch, and I can go here and look. And I can actually confirm, yep, modified git ignore. That's our commit. Yes?
Ask a question?
Sure.
When you did the ad, and then you displayed it, is that just so you can look at your files and see if you've got everything that you wanted?
Yeah.
Because you didn't really make any changes or verify
No,
anything.
it was a brand new repo. It was a brand new Git repo, so nothing had been committed yet or added. So I just added everything so that Git knows about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would, if I had a remote set up for this, I would go ahead and push that up to my remote.
So did it add it to your directory?
It's added to Git, is what it added it to. It was already in the directory,
Right.
but Git doesn't know about it until you tell it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like it can see files there, but it has no information about them other than that they're there. So when I
think of stage, I think of, well, you're going to verify something before you do the final commit, but in essence, you're just making it visible to Git.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure. So yeah, so we have all that there. So that's pretty much the basics of working with Git. Pushing and pulling. But say you, and there are a couple other ways you can do that. Say you had a bunch of stuff staged, or not staged, but modified. If it's files that Git already knows about, that you've modified once before, it sees that. So you could do this, git commit A. That will, I don't know what it'll do because we don't have anything to commit, but yeah. So let me make a change to something real quick. So I am I'm just going to delete a file. Git status. So it sees that I've deleted it. And when you delete something, instead of git add, you use git rm. Or you could do it this way, put git commit -a. That opens a text editor for you. It shows you what's going to be committed. You would hit I and type your commit message. Hit escape, :WQ. That writes it. That did the whole commit for you. So it's just kind of a different way of doing it. It's the same as git commit -m, but if you had, if you want to skip that staging step, that's how you can skip it. Okay, so say this is all well and good if you're working on it by yourself. You don't need to branch things. You would if you have different environments and things, but so you do start working with another developer, you're gonna want to start using branches so that you guys aren't stepping on each other's toes. And I'll show you what happens when you do and how to fix that later down the road here. But to make a branch, all you do is git checkout -b and then whatever you want to call the branch. So it made a new branch for us. If it's a branch that already exists, you just do git checkout and the name of that branch. So that'll switch us back. So we do have, let me just go back to this new branch. So we have our new branch. So you can just go crazy. Start adding files, start downloading. Let's just download a module. Because you pretty much can't make a Drupal site without views, right? Okay. So let's do a git status. And of course we know that because we just added them. If you want to add, what I usually do is just copy the level above so that it will add both. So when you get status, you can see you've added both views and ctools. So now we need to commit that. Git commit. What do I do from here? Git commit. Anyone remember? Dash
B.
A. We could do A, but we've already added them, so we don't need to add them. So git commit -m, which stands for message, views, and ctools. Okay. So now you've done all this work locally. You need to actually get it back up to the repo. So you're going to need to merge this branch into your master branch. So to do that, does anybody have an idea what we would need to do first? No? Okay. Pull?
You want to get the most?
Right. But we're on a new branch that doesn't exist in the repo, so we want to go back to our master branch, git checkout master. Probably you should pull, just in case somebody else has pushed up there. But since we don't actually have a remote, there's nothing to pull.
But if you're checking it out, isn't that pulling down the newest version anyway?
Well, this doesn't have a remote. I'll jump over to the other window and show you guys. Basically the same thing, just the merge. I'm just showing you the merge here. So, so we've grabbed master. We're in master now. So to merge your other branch in, all you have to do is git merge new branch. So now we have the two modules that I committed to new branch are now in master. And now you would be able to push back up. So let's do something over here like that. I imagine I have these already, but I'm just going to overwrite them. Okay. Yeah. Oh. This is something you have to be really careful about. This is an Acquia site. Acquia puts their stuff in a doc root folder below the level of, like most repos, it's like right out there at the root. Theirs is in a doc root, but the Git information lives above the doc root. And so if you look here, I just downloaded this module, but it's not going to do me a lot of good above the doc root. So you need to, with an Acquia site, you need to make sure you're actually in the doc root folder. So we'll just move this views. So move views, and then you start with the path you want to move to where you want to move it. So the nice thing about, I imagine it does it on Windows too. You can start typing a file or folder name and then hit tab and it'll fill it in for you. Okay, so let's look back here and make sure it actually moved it. It would help if I looked to the right. Yep, so it's not sitting out there. And we can also double check from here. Let's see, git status. Okay, so now it sees that it's in the right place. So this, you could use git, this is untracked, so we do have to add it. You can't use git commit a, so git add. Git commit -m views. Okay, git pull, just in case. Already up to date. Git push. So that's pretty much that. So let me get to this. Sometimes you're going to get merge conflicts because someone doesn't follow best practices, and that person may even be you. Because I know I've messed myself up many times. The best scenario I can think of is a client calls, they're freaking out, there's a piece of code that needs to change, so your manager tells every developer they possibly can they need to work on this. So everyone thinks they're the only person working on it, they don't make a new branch, and somehow you manage to both push at exactly the same time. You're going to get conflicts. I'm going to see if I can get one to happen. I don't know if I will or not, because I do have this repo in here twice. Okay. Okay, so that's this white window, what I just pushed up. This just pulled it down into another repo that I have. So I'm going to go here and open a file. And what I'm doing here, you should never do. Just so you know, this is a contributed theme. If you want to change a contributed theme, you need to make a child theme. Don't be jumping in the theme and changing things. Because when you update it, you're going to lose all your changes. So, is this the one we were in? Git status. Okay, it sees that we made that change. And it also is tracking changelog now. I'm not sure how that happened. Is that from when, oh, we deleted it out of here? It still existed. I pulled it down. Okay. So I'm going to also change it in this other directory. So I'm trying to make something bad happen. I don't know if it actually will. We'll see. This is our other folder. Do a git status. Okay, so it sees it as changed too. So I'm going to git add. Git pull. Git push. Okay. I don't think we added anything. Oh, yeah, we forgot to commit. Now we'll push. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing here. This is your other developer that got pulled into this. Was told to hack a contrib theme because the client's all been out of shape. Git commit -m example. Okay, now okay, as you can see, we did get the conflict that I thought we would. So, how do you fix that? You could probably diff the files. In this case, it's not going to be that complicated. As you can see, if you see that, that's where things are broken. And as you can see, the same line is there twice because we did it twice. So what you'll want to do is take that out, take this out. Now, if this happens with lots of files, you don't want to do it this way. I would just start over, really. So, we'll save this. Do a git status. Always, when in doubt, git status. Okay. You have unmerged paths. So, and it tells you exactly what you need to do. Unmerged paths, use git add to mark the resolution. So, another nice thing about command line, it remembers things you've done. So you just hit the up arrow and you don't have to retype things. So, it sees that it needs to be committed. So, we may still have a problem here. Okay. Okay, so we're up to date. We're good. We fixed it there. Another nightmare scenario. If you were to merge stuff in that didn't need to be merged, like say you merged to master and it's like some experimental branch that is going to break everything on the production site, and you need to quickly get rid of that. It's kind of the same idea. So let's just say we broke this file. First, you're going to want to look. You're going to do a git log, and that'll show you all the commits in this repo. So I want to roll back to this commit right here, because that's where it was fine. So to do that, you're going to do git checkout that commit number, and then you're also going to want the name of the file, because you don't want to check out the whole repo to that. You just want that particular file. -- file name. And if you look, git status. Now this file needs to be committed, and it's been rolled back to the commit before, to the commit, the number I supplied. So it's, even though you're doing another commit, you're basically putting things back the way they were. Okay, so say you're working with somebody and they do this, they're in the wrong branch, and they have a commit you need, and you only need that one commit. You don't need anything else in that branch. The way you would do that is with Cherrypick. So it's basically what we basically just did. I'm going to switch to a new branch here. This one had a branch, right? Which one are we still on? We're on master. So I'm going to go ahead and check out my new branch. Thought we had one here. Is it here? Well then, let's just make one. Oh, that was in a different repo, wasn't it? Okay. Git checkout -b is your new branch. Okay. So do another change to our file here. We're going to change it back. Okay, you can see we've changed it. You do all the same things. Git commit A. Okay. So, I tried to pull on a new branch. It doesn't know about this one, so of course it's not going to do anything. So we need to actually push this branch up so that the other developer can add this commit. And if you see, it tells you what you need to do here. So go ahead and copy that. We are pushing to origin. This may not work since there isn't a new branch up there. Yeah. So really what we should probably do sorry, being lazy. There it is. You can also push this way using the URL of the repo, and then you would add the branch name at the end. Okay, so put that new branch up there. So here we're going to go ahead and pull that down. And it should, on a regular old git pull. Okay, you can see it pulled the new branch down for us. and I need that last commit. So we use a git log. You can see the commit is here. We need to switch back to our master branch. And then you would just do git cherrypick commit. Oh, we broke something. I think it's our same issue we had before. Remember where we changed both files in 2 different places? The same file in 2 different places? I bet we're going to see the exact same thing. It's because one was commented out and the other one wasn't. Okay. Git add. When in doubt, just do what Git tells you to do. It always. So now let's look. That didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. So basically, if that were successful, if I had done it correctly with a different file, it will add your commit to the branch you're adding it to, and it will leave the same developer information too. So if you committed it, it'll show you as committing in both branches even though you didn't. Sorry, that was kind of confusing. So where are we? Cherrypick. We already went over that. Okay, this is when things get really, really, really bad. Like, say you just have to get rid of your master branch because you broke it so bad. There's no fixing it. We've all done it. I know I've done it many times. There's not really an easy way to get rid of it. To get rid of your local branch, you're gonna type git branch -d and the name of the branch. I'm gonna try that while on that branch and you'll see what happens. It won't let you delete a branch that you're sitting on. So you'll need to change to your any other branch, it doesn't matter. Oh, we didn't commit our files. See, I'm finding all kinds of bad things that you guys should never do. Okay, git status yet again. Okay, git commit. I don't know. Has anybody used Tower or Source Tree in here? No? Do you like it, Alina? Do you like either of them?
I'm faster with the command line, but I feel like it's better for some people who are not as comfortable with the command line.
Yeah.
It's nicer in the way that you can click around.
If you're more of a visual person, I think Source Tree and Tower are probably the way to go. I feel the same way about them that people feel about command line though. Like anytime I look at it, I get really confused and start to get panicky and stuff. Which I shouldn't. It's like a guided interface, you know. But this is just, it's words. I understand words. So this, I'm just more comfortable with this, and I think it is faster. But like where you would have, you know, a bunch of files that you need to add, it has little checkboxes. It makes it a little easier than that, than like having to type each file name out. What were we doing? Oh, we totally broke our repo, didn't we? Okay, now we can change. New branch. Okay. So now we can delete, which I already forgot the command, git branch -d, branch -d master. Ah, it's changed. Oh, it's not fully merged. Why not? we're just going to say that's a problem, so we just want to get rid of it. Okay, so it's gone. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to lose my master branch on my repo, but to get rid of it on the remote, you would do git push origin :master. That's what tells it to delete. Make sure you really want to do this before you do this. So you've done that. Then you want a new master branch. And it's just like making any new branch. Git branch -b master. Whoop. Ah, that's not the right command. Git checkout b master. So now we have a new master branch, which we can push to the origin because we've got it deleted. Everything's fixed for you. Any questions? Wow, I actually filled 45 minutes. I got a few resources here. The Git docs themselves are really, really good. They can get a little complicated. The book is really good. This was kind of weird. I found this when I was looking for resources. This guy posed a question on Stack Overflow and listed everything he wanted to know about Git. And people have actually started answering it. So it's marked as not a question or whatever. You've seen that before. It's like, this isn't really a question. It shouldn't be here kind of thing. But people have answered it. There's a lot of really good information there. And then this last one, Git Ready, is just a blog on Git. And that's usually where I go first because he will actually give you the command you need. A lot of time you're just looking for the command. You don't need to know all the information, what actually is going on. I just need this command that does this thing. And that's the place you're going to find that. So that's pretty much it. Anybody, any specific questions on anything, or kind of confused after all that? I'm pretty new to command line myself because I used to be really intimidated by it and worried that I would break things, because I've seen people break things. I've seen architects delete a whole server by mistake, you know. Yes?
I have a question. Is there a way with Git to do like a list from the command line, Git list, to see maybe what things are available, what public repos I can install, kind of like Yum list or Yum search or something?
I'm not sure exactly. What are you trying to list?
How would I see what public Git repos are available for me to download or install?
Anyone that has like a public URL, you can. So like out on, I'm drawing a blank right now. GitHub, there's stuff out there.
GitHub.com.
Yeah. A lot of the Drupal stuff you can download. You can get a Git repo from. I know you can get core. I'm not sure. Do all the modules? Can you do it with all the modules? Does anybody know? That gets kind of crazy though. If you have Git repos within Git repos, it can get pretty crazy pretty quick. So I would suggest not doing that. Just use the download. And you don't need all of Drese's commits from core. So yeah, pretty much. Is GitHub the only one that really does public, or are there other ones out there? There probably are, right? Yeah.
Bitbucket, GitLab.
Okay.
Sprite.
Yeah. I think we're done, unless anybody has any other questions.